Welcome everyone. The dialogue in the media has been occupied with much discussion around this generation, Generation Alpha. To cover this topic in today's session of Alef Talks, I have two self-esteemed guests with me here today. Dr. Najla Al-Nakbi, Head of Smart Learning in Mohammed bin Zayed University. Welcome, Dr. Najla.
Thank you.
And Mr. Tony Latif, Head of Education in Amazon Web Services. Welcome, Mr. Tony. Generation Alpha will most likely benefit from technology in their learning journey. Dr. Najla, with your experience in the educational field, what is your take on this generation?
First of all, thank you for having me here in this talk. And the topic we are discussing is very, very important, and we have to think about it really from now on for our future. Who are Generation Alpha? Let's talk about who are Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha, they are all kids who are born since 2010. These, and of course onward, they are these kind of student or these kind of kids. They are coming in naturally with the technology. Yani we used to say before, the kids born with a golden fork or spoon. Now the kids born with what? With an iPad while he born, so or an iPhone or any kind of technology we can say. So these generation are really, the technology is like kind of, it's not like a toy. It's not like an add-on. No, it is their lifestyle is coming with technology. So when you find them, you will find them. They are very using AI technologies like Series and other of course AI techniques very easily, smoothly from early ages, like from even you can say from like let's say 3-4 years old, and they are using Series to solve their problems or to solve their, for example, homeworks or something like this. Some of them, they are very skilled with some kind of taking decisions and decision makers. So even when you can see it with your kids, yani, even if we are planning for a vacation or we are planning for purchase something, they will search, they will have a decision on these kind of like vacations, on they will convince their parents to buy a product, for example, because they are searching a lot from the technology. So they are really very well, the technology considered as their life. They are very well smart. They are very smart and decision makers. They have this skills from, and we have of course to nourish it and engage them more. They like personalized learning. What we mean, like whenever they play gaming, they want to have their own game, their own level, their own skin. So all the games you will feel this student is different than the other student because they build their own games and fields. So really Generation Alpha is different than other generations. So we have to prepare our education to this kind of student.
So with this increased use of technology, Tony, what do you think are the essential skills that we should nurture for this generation?
Yeah, again, thank you for having me on this panel. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. So I think, as Dr. Najla said, I concur on the topic. For them, the use of technology is not transformational. It's a way of life. They were born, as you said, with all these devices and all these technologies. Yes, they have them. It is there. It's not alien to them. It's what they do every day.
Yeah.
So I think where we are is that the education system has to catch up. Not the students. The students are there already. So the education system has to catch up with them. And one thing we see that, all the interactions, or most of their interactions, happen in the digital world.
Yes.
Meeting friends, getting together with friends, gaming.
Yes.
All of these things, yet education is cut off and then put in classrooms.
I agree.
So with those skills, how can we empower the educational system or prepare teachers to best cater to this?
Yes, of course, our education system should be changed really dramatically, and we have to change it from now so that we can cater them in higher education, of course, or in higher grades. As we say, Generation Alpha is coming with very powerful technologies, tech savvy. They are really agile, and they really they come and they know they can search for the information from different ways. So content, they can search about it in all these technology platforms. However, our education, we have to, instead of teaching them the what, which is the knowledge, the content, the facts, which is already, they know how to get it. They have to change and teach them how to do the how. They know the technology, how they use this technology, how they will apply this technology so that they can, of course, learn from it and maybe invent or create a new stuff from this knowledge. So they have the knowledge, how they can use this knowledge and invent a new knowledge, for example, or a new. So, and also why. We have to teach them why they are learning math, why they are learning this kind of math, for example, or why they are learning this science. What this will gain benefit to them. So it's very important not only to give them facts, so we have to give them the why and the how. This is one. The second thing that we have to make sure that our education system cater the personalization and adaptation. Yani our kids in their gaming, in their they are going their gaming, they have personalized, they will do their own word, they will do their own, for example, game for avatar or all of these. So and when they come to our school, they will find that something very rigid, very, okay, you have to do 1, 2, 3, and it's not personalized for their level of skills. And we have different type of students. Yani the students, that some of them they are skillful, some of them they need more support in different area. But if we give them all the same, they will feel bored, and they will feel they are not engaged and motivated to learn. So it's very important to give them learning which is aligned with their needs, and so this is also the most important.
Tony, what are your insights?
So there are two main topics in here. There is the future and there is the now. So talking about the now, the OECD lists many skills on their on their sites and their studies, and these are all about cognitive skills and emotional, everything to do with empathy, critical thinking, is even also physical and what have you, because these are things that we need to just think more about them. And for the future ones, if we look at LinkedIn, one of the top 3 job requirements at the moment in the market is in cloud technologies. And what this means is that typically when students were in classrooms, we would talk about engineering, math, science, but we need to put more context into them. What does that mean? And when you add critical thinking and you add cloud technologies, it just takes it to the next level to look at VR, the virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, etc., etc.
So to focus on those 21st century skills and teaching them in the classroom, what are some specific techniques that teachers can incorporate in their classrooms?
We need these kind of techniques to grasp their motivation and interest. So this is very important. So these techniques that can grab their motivation, interest, and also the lifespan of their attention. The attention is very important. So if you teach them with very old-fashioned like lecturing or maybe a lot of just spoon feeding, they will really lose attention and they will be very bored to learn. So these kind of techniques should be very short, very attractive to them as technology savvy. So and align with their lifestyles and how they are working, playing with games and so on. So one of these techniques, can we say that the nano learning, which is very some of them, it's the very small short tips or very small short videos to teach them about a skill or to teach them about and how to deal with a fact or something like this, or maybe gamification, which is also they are playing but they are learning. So they are learning while they are playing. So this is is very important, really grasp their attention, because they feel they are playing but they are at the same time learning. So, and as Tony said, it's like the VR part, which is really showing them what will happen if they do this. So it is like showing them the life or virtual life. In a virtual, they can do all their scientist experiment while they are wearing this virtual reality, and they will be very engaged and motivated. And this kind of technology, so as we said, gamifications, nano or very short topics as a video or multimedia related, and of course the VR. Maybe.
And to add, I concur. So to add, I think we cannot emphasize personalization in general.
Yeah.
So think about it as a one-to-one tuition. So when I was at school, you know, if I wasn't good in physics or math, my parents will get me a tutor to do one-to-one.
Yes.
And it's not too dissimilar. So people think, oh, how can we do personalized? This is the concept of that. Technology is there to do it. You know, if we look at what Alif Education does, it's exactly that. It's personalized to every person. Now, being more specific about, you know, these techniques, we talked about nano courses. These are 10 minutes short bite about a specific topic. Yes, it works. It works for many ages. You know, we use it in professional education as well as schools, and we have things on that. But fundamentally, you know, Pearson in 2018 did a study, and it showed that multimedia, you know, is the most desired for Generation Z and Generation Alpha to go in, and specifically videos and media. But again, for teachers, when they look at videos or multimedia, this is a big job. It needs a lot of production. It could be a small camera with the teacher saying something, press play, pause, and launch it. Now, moving on from that, you have also the, you know, when we talk about the VR and all of these things, these are all supportive techniques. But what the studies have shown is teachers come first. There is a preference of multimedia over textbooks, but teachers is a center of attention. So, you know, we want to go away from the session. The teacher is the center of all of that, and the knowledge comes from that. We're discussing here technology-assisted education. We're discussing techniques to help with these things.
Where the teacher becomes basically the facilitator.
The teacher is the center of all of it.
Yes.
So because you can't put VR for 8 hours on your head.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, 10 minutes and you feel dizzy.
For sure.
So it is a bite size. Gamification, you can't learn only through gamification.
Yeah.
It's a bite size. You can do the nano course, but it's that mix of everything that keeps it interesting and students engaged through the means of technology.
Yes, and as you say, that the way of teaching it and how you can let them to learn. So instead of doing it all lecturing, you can get all these aids and support you to do to gain, or to at least get your objectives done, or at least to achieve your objectives in your learning or in your schools. Yeah.
So there's a lot of research that reveals that Generation Alpha will work in a workforce that maybe those jobs aren't even ready, or not even currently here now at this time. So we would have to prepare this generation for something that doesn't exist. Maybe in workforces such as automation, VR, big data. So how can schools prepare for this?
Look, this is the largest experiment we've ever experienced in 100 years. Right? So you know, I was working in the e-learning business in the late 90s. You know, the CBT course-based training. You know, it shows my age, but nevertheless, it's, you know. So at the time, these things would take a decade to instill. What happened with COVID is this had to happen overnight. So the trend that what would happen between now 5 to 10 years time had to happen in 5 to 10 months time, and it was forced, and we didn't have a choice. So this has accelerated a lot of things. So I'm just trying to answer the question from a broader perspective. Now, you know, what skills they need. Again, we need to inspire them, because the jobs that they see today are not the same jobs that probably their parents are seeing. So, you know, there is an education side of it, or knowledge sharing about what skills are needed, what jobs are there in the future. So all of the things that we talked about, big data, what does that mean? Data is increasing at crazy rates at the moment. And how can you derive insight from this data? You know, if I'm a school and I have data of interaction, of everything, how can I ingest that data and get something out of it that is meaningful? But these are the skills that the student of the future will be needed for. It's not just the physical things that we see, but it's more the theoretical, or let's say on the technological side.
And as you said, we can these skills that like really teaching them how to produce, not only to be like only receiver, or like only just they are receiving the information, that we need them whatever they are receiving, whatever they are learning as a content, how they really benefit from it. Okay, I have this knowledge, I have this content, how I will use it to benefit, okay, myself, my community, or my country in the future. So these skills, how to, as a critical thinking, analyzing stuff, I mean, how they can analyze if this information is right or wrong, these skills are very important. Collaborative is also one of the skills that we have to teach it for our students. Like, okay, each of us have a knowledge, or each have a skills, how we can come together to produce something. It might be benefit for us, or as we say, community, so these kind of skills we call the soft skills. And of course diversity, I mean, and how to deal with others, how to especially now when we are in the field of technologies, we are communicating with different people, different kind of so how also to deal with these other students, other some with the different capabilities. So this kind of skill that is very important.
But also, on the technology side. So talking about the now, what can we do today?
Yeah.
So in AWS, Amazon Web Services, we have programs specifically for the end of generation Alpha to Z. So from the ages of 14, 15 onwards, to teach cloud skills. And what cloud skills means is all about how to use artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, etc., etc. So we have a program called AWS Educate that it's a curriculum ready that anybody can use. So we can get in touch with us, get in touch with you, and we can just provide this content to learn this. And there's also AWS Academy, which is also for teachers. So teachers don't know where to go. We have these things ready. And they are adopted, by thousands and thousands of faculty members and students all over the world.
That's great, and I also believe that skills is something very important, especially metacognition, so that they're able to also reflect and think about their learning.
Yes.
And that is really important. That's something that schools are building, and they're focusing on 21st century skills. But it's also very important to take that home as well, because it's also a learning environment as well. So what is your take on parents and parental involvement?
Yeah. For parents, it's very important to be as much close as their kids. It's very important to be with them. Let them, for example, some of them will tell me as a parent, technology will really affect my kids. He will maybe use it in a very bad way. He will, use it all the day. So they will ban them from kind of technology or devices. But what really when we think about it as a researcher, that really don't ban them from it, but really sit with them and try to teach them what to use. You have this content, how you will validate this content. Okay, you have to manage your time and you have to manage your time. So you are teaching them the skills of managing their time. So how they can use the technology at a certain time, how they can to be in a real world and play with other kids or maybe with the parents. So first advice for the parents is really to be as much close as your kids, and talk with them and let the kids teach you some kind of this technology. If you are as a parent, maybe you don't like to use technology, or maybe you don't know how to use the technology, but you have to do it now. I mean, with your kids, you don't want to have this gap between your kids using this technology and you are you don't want to like it or you don't like to use it. No, you have to make it very, you have to this gap to make it very short or narrow or small. But how? Through really let them teach you, let them benefit from what they are searching in the technology, and let them do it. So be close, teach them, let them teach you, and really be as a friend for them, because really technology and internet may affect them. There's a lot of good and bad way in it. So let's take the good from this technology and use it for their benefit. So this is one of my advice.
I mean, it's a tough job for the parents, especially the working parents, where they have to juggle their work on a PC, remotely from home, and educate the students at the same time. This is a tough one. I mean, simple guidelines that we have seen adopted by many of our clients around the world, specifically in K-12 or even for the higher grades. Put the students or put the learners or put your kids in a non-distractive environment. White walls, not TV in the background. The temperature should be okay. They should be comfortable, not sleeping on a bed and looking at so just sit like you sit in a normal environment. Be flexible. Encourage them to walk around, have a snack, drink plenty of water because it helps with all of these things. So very small guidelines just to ease the pressure on that. Definitely a tough job. We can't wait to all go back for in-person interaction, and hopefully soon that will be the case.
So here at Alef Education, we cater to those different stakeholders within an educational ecosystem. So we have platforms that provide support and interfaces for government entities, teachers, school administration, whether it be vice principal, head of department, and even the guardians or parents. We have a major platform called the Alif Platform, and it's a personalized learning platform that takes into consideration big data, AI, digital media, multimedia content. We have internal content that is developed within Alef Education to cater to those needs and build those skills within the students and eventually prepare them for the future workforce, for the future jobs that might be out there, and at the same time just deliver or just make sure that they are effectively learning within the classroom and at home as well. So the learning environment goes outside those classroom walls and they're able to learn anywhere at any time. So here at Alef, we cater from K to 12 for all core subjects. We have embedded within our platform different digital content and features to help prepare students and develop their 21st century skills. Do you have any closing statements for us today in this Alef Talks session?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first, thanks for having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to come back if you invite us again. Look, I think I'm going to restate one thing. This is the largest experiment in education. It's one in a generation that has happened. So what we need people to do is not be afraid of technology. You have to embrace technology. Try it, test it, see if it works. Get feedback from the students. They will tell you, they are your recipients. They will tell you, this works, I like this, I like that. Modify it and then relaunch it again. And at one point, if this really works, scale it up, whether it's within your school, within your district, or within your country or region.
Do you have any
And I want to add what Tony said, that what happened with COVID pandemic and what the system, our education system shows us that through this pandemic, it's really transformed in a very, very short time. That means that our education system can change very fast. So we don't have to wait, or we have to, think and rethink about it until we implement it, and if it will fit or no. No, we can do it. Our system can be agile and really cater all the needs of our students and our, all the students from KG until even our higher education. So, and really one more thing, that what happened through the changes happening through the COVID-19 in our system, I really argue all our system or education don't go back to the old traditional normal things.
Absolutely.
No, go to the new normal, we call it. What's the meaning of a new normal? That means take whatever is good through the pandemic and continue and build on it. Don't really go back to the traditional way. So really get all the benefits we did it through all this education system through the pandemic, and really take it from it and improve it to cater all our students, especially Generation Alpha. And thank you for having us here today.
We hope you enjoyed and benefited from our session today. We hope to see you in the next Alef Talks session. Goodbye.